Hey guys, today I am going to take you through my collection of Amiibos that I've been working on pretty much since the time they started releasing them. I haven't collected each Amiibo in each wave. I've only been getting the ones that I mainly play as, or the ones that I think are pretty cool. So I guess we'll kick things off with this one right here. This is a Kirby Amiibo, and Kirby is a male blob. I'm not really sure if he has a species or not. I didn't play a lot of the Kirby games, but I typically main him in Super Smash Brothers. Just because he's speedy but can also hit hard. The only Kirby game I ever really had was Kirby's Dream Land, I'm pretty sure, on the old Game Boy, and it was quite a difficult game. I got to the final boss one time but then had to turn the game off, and it was one of those ones that doesn't save, I'm pretty sure. So every time you restarted the Game Boy, you had to restart the game as well. But yeah, I got this from my local shops. It's about 15 Australian dollars. And yeah, all of my Amiibos are kept in their boxes, except for one, which I will also show you. But what I thought we could do is, since there's a bit of dust on top, I thought it would be alright for a video to grab this feather duster and just give the Amiibos a bit of a clean before I put them back on my shelf. So we'll talk about the games and the characters and just dust off the Amiibos a bit. So yeah, I really like the design on the Kirby Amiibo. It's clean and bright and colourful. And there's a sorry, I've got the autofocus on again, just have to adjust to it. There we go. So it's just got a picture of Kirby fighting Mario in the Super Smash Brothers game. So we'll move on to our next one. So our next Amiibo is another series favourite. It's Link from The Legend of Zelda. I prefer normal Link to Toon Link, but I don't actually play as Link that much in Super Smash Brothers. I'm just a fan of his standalone games, The Legend of Zelda. I have most of the Legend of Zelda games, there's only a few that I'm missing. I'm currently playing Majora's Mask on 3DS, and the HD remake of Wind Waker on Wii U. But I think my favourite has to be Ocarina of Time, just because that's the one I started with, and put a lot of hours into that game. But I really enjoyed the 3DS game, Link Between Worlds, that was sort of a spiritual successor to A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. I thought they did some clever things with the items and the bosses. It's a shame it wasn't longer, really. I feel it could have benefited from a longer story. So again, there's Link fighting Mario in Super Smash Bros. This is the Super Smash Bros. Wave, so it only makes sense that it's going to have pictures of that game on it. Next up is my main from Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, Smash 4. This is the main character I play as. This is Little Mac. And I said Kirby was my main. I have a lot of mains. This is my main, if that makes sense. Little Mac is from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, or just Punch-Out, I think it was called. We had Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on the Nintendo Entertainment System. He has terrible recovery, but blistering speeds, and he packs a punch. So it's fun to dash from side to side of each arena to take out opponents with Little Mac's punches. It's just a little bit difficult to use due to his terrible recovery. This one I actually had to order online. I got it off eBay because at the time I was ordering these, collecting the Amiibos, there was none in any of the shops around me because people were buying them and then selling them at a higher price, which unfortunately I had to deal with, but hey, at least I got one. And now of course they've released them for normal prices again, but deep down I'll know that I got away with one Little Mac. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, I have one here out of the box. I bought a second one to actually use in game, and you can see the fine details on his biceps and his legs here. And so you just sit the puck on the gamepad and it sends in an Amiibo of the character that you want to use, whichever character you tapped. So I think this Amiibo at the moment is level close to level 50. I think he's level 38 or something like that, and it's now beating me consistently, so that's always fun, getting beaten by your own toy. But unfortunately, Little Mac isn't really used for much outside of Super Smash Bros. Whereas some of the other ones, you get costumes and stuff for Mario Kart. But unfortunately, not Little Mac. I think if I had to cosplay someone, it would be Little Mac, just because I like his costume, his green gloves. But unfortunately, I'm nowhere near that ripped, so it wouldn't be suitable. Our next Amiibo is Fox McCloud, his full name, from the Star Fox series. I was trying to think of what it's called, because in Australia it's actually called Lilac Wars. The game on Nintendo 64 was called Lilac Wars. It's a bit strange. But Fox was my main in Super Smash Bros. Brawl on the Wii. Played a fair bit of him in the 64. Mario was actually my main on the 64 version. And then never played the GameCube version. And then I made Fox on the Wii version. And then mostly Kirby and Little Mac on the Wii U version. But Lilac Wars was one of those games that you had to have the save pack for. So I only got up to the final boss once, and then had to turn off the Nintendo. So all that progress was gone. But it was actually quite a good game. Many different routes you could take depending on saving or losing allies. and I've actually been considering getting the 3DS remake of it for something light and different to play on the 3DS. And once again we have a picture of Fox and Mario duking it out in Super Smash Bros. Fox used to hit pretty hard, but I feel like Nintendo may have nerfed him a bit because he just doesn't have the launching power that I feel he used to, which is why I don't play as him too much in the Wii U version of the game. But still an interesting character, and definitely one that I wanted to add to my collection. A recent addition to my collection was Greninja from the 6th generation of Pokemon games. I barely play as Greninja, but I loved the pose that he was in and the attention to detail that went into the figure, so I had to pick it up, of course. This one isn't as dusty because it hasn't been here that long, but we'll still give it a dust. So a lot of people play with Greninja online in the Pokemon games, and in fact it was my Gen 6 starter, but it went straight to overused because of how powerful it was. That's a tier in Pokemon battling, if you're not familiar with that. And there is actually a bit of sticky stuff from tape that I've been meaning to wipe off with methylated spirits. I'll get around to it one day. Greninja fighting in Smash Brothers. Oh, he's actually fighting Little Mac. That's a change from the Mario character that everyone else seems to be beating up. But yeah, I definitely liked how this figure was made, so I picked one of those up as well. Next up we have Samus, the bounty hunter, from the Metroid series. And Metroid is one of my favourite Nintendo series. It's very Castlevania-like, which is actually where we get the term Metroidvania, which describes games where you try and progress in a large map, and when you get stuck you head in a different direction to get different power-ups, and come back when you have power-ups that enable you to reach those earlier areas. But my first Metroid game, I think, was on the NES, the original Metroid. That was actually one of those games that uses the password save system to save your progress. So naturally there was sheets of paper lying around everywhere with passwords written on them. I never finished that version of the game because it was too difficult. There was a lot of pixel perfect jumps that you had to make, a lot of backtracking, and it was too hard for me at the time. I was too young. But then I got Metroid Fusion on the Game Boy Advance, and that was actually quite an enjoyable game. That was also hard, but I was a bit older, so I could deal with it. And then who have we got Samus fighting there? So Samus is actually fighting Link in that picture, which again is a nice change from fighting Mario like everyone else was. And unfortunately, our Samus only has one arm cannon and not two like that first Samus Amiibo had and sold for something ridiculous. A lot of deformed Amiibos popped up around then, and you gotta wonder how many of them were fake. Our next Amiibo is one that most people would be familiar with. It's the Pokemon mascot, Pikachu. I actually play a fair bit of Pikachu in Super Smash Bros. Probably in order it would probably be Little Mac, Kirby, Pikachu, Samus, and then Fox after him. than Link and everyone else. But Pikachu is pretty strong with his Volt Tackle, I think it might be. I'm not sure, the one where you charge up. No, Volt Tackle's his smash move. I'm not sure, his side smash anyway. Quite a strong move. And of course my first experience with Pikachu was in Pokemon Yellow back on the Game Boy, where you were forced to take him as your starter, since Pokemon Yellow was based more on the anime than the manga. And in our graphic we can see Pikachu fighting Bowser and who's that? Samus? Yeah, it looks like the fusion suit. Samus. But another Amiibo with bright colours that I really enjoyed. I just picked that up locally as well. Same place I got Kirby and Link from, and Samus. Next up is another Pokemon. It's Charizard, the icon mascot, whichever you prefer, of Pokemon Red version. I only had Pokemon Blue, but most people had Red because they preferred Charizard. But I was always pretty partial to Blastoise. So Charizard and Greninja were actually later releases of the Amiibos compared to everyone else that I've shown so far. So these are the newest ones that I've added to my collection, but we'll still give him a dust off. Yeah, as I said, I usually use Blastoise over Charizard. Not too sure why. I guess that's just the kind of person that I am. Prefer blue over red. And who is Charizard beating up in our little photo here? Oh, it's Mario again, I think. Yeah, it's Mario using some kind of item against the Charizard. Smash Brothers wise, Charizard isn't too bad. It's quite bulky and slow, but it hits quite hard. I think it uses Flare Blitz. I think that's the move, which actually does damage to Charizard itself. But typically it doesn't matter too much, since you'll be launching your opponents away with the heavy force of your attacks anyway. But still, a great design on the Charizard Amiibo as well, and it's actually quite bigger than a lot of the other Amiibos. Our final Amiibo should be pretty familiar to my subscribers, since I did a video unboxing this little guy recently. It's the Green Yarn Yoshi Amiibo that came with Yoshi's Woolly World and can be used with the game to save and store styles of Yoshis, and also give you double Yoshi in game. So even though he's only been on my shelf for a week or so, we'll still give him a dust off, just so everyone's on par with each other. I have played some of the Woolly World game, and it is a lot of fun, and I'm still considering doing some videos on it on this channel. I think it would be quite a cute little game to do some videos on, and it's quiet and it's not too combat intensive, so it should be okay for doing ASMR videos. And lastly, we have this Marvel Universe figure of Venom from Disney Infinity 2.0, part of the Marvel Superheroes line. I saw Venom and I am a huge fan of Venom. Venom is one of my favourite Marvel Universe characters, and even though I don't actually have this game, I definitely wanted this figure on my shelf. So I picked it up. It was about the same cost as regular Amiibos. And yeah, I just really like the design of it. He's so bulky, and I feel like they really cartoonified him perfectly. I don't know why I'm such a huge fan of Venom. I really enjoyed the game Ultimate Spider-Man on PlayStation 2, which was my first experience with him. Was a bit disappointed with how they portrayed him in Spider-Man 3, the movie. But what are you gonna do, you know? But yeah, I know it's not an Amiibo, but it's still a collectible that I sit with my Amiibos. And I'm such a... I don't know, this one just really sits in a special place in my heart. As weird as that is, since he is a villain, I'm pretty sure, or an anti-hero, I guess you would say. It's a very fine line, the difference between villain and anti-hero. But, yeah, that is all our Amiibos today. I've been looking for Mega Man. I don't play as him too much. I enjoyed playing as him in the demo way back when, but now he's outclassed by a lot of other fighters in Super Smash Bros. And I don't think there's any other Amiibos that I really want. And I'm definitely running out of shelf space anyway, so I probably won't be picking any more up. But I actually, now that I mention that, I am thinking about getting a Toad Amiibo to get the bonuses in Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on the Wii U. So if I get that, I'll have to open it up, which means another unboxing video for you guys. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. But thank you for watching this Amiibo collection video, and I hope to see you in future videos.